Because we're live on Facebook.
It does. Now, whether we are actually live is a whole nother story.
So if you can see my back end, it says like Zoom is doing it to Facebook, and then it's like thinking about it. But I'm sure now it's live, so I'm just gonna say it's live. Oh, get a phone call just to go live. Hi everyone, it's just near. What's that?
I'll turn my ringers off before we start, before we're live.
We're live. Hey everyone, it's Justin here with LethbridgeRealEstate.com. We're doing our Realtors Online drinking coffee, and as per usual, we have Joel over here. Hello, Joel.
Hi.
And, oh no, we have game show host, but he forgot to rename himself. So now everyone knows. Boom. No. So there we go. We have a couple of quick topics we're gonna chat about today. Check it out. I had a meeting right before this. This is why we're going on at noon. So I went and got a McDonald's, which I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, solid choice because you were coming from the north. Yeah, so you had all of the popular options, and I think you chose the middle one. So
yeah, because there's Starbucks, Tim Hortons, and McDonald's right there by my office. So yeah, I went with the one that was I think flavorful but not breaking the bank.
Good choice.
Are you still doing coffee, or is it too late now?
No, our dog Nigel, he was not feeling very well last night whatsoever. So my wife and we were both up, I think 3 times each in the middle of the night. So I think I'm on my 6th and 7th shot of espresso.
Wow.
It's a busy day today. So I need to be energized.
Yeah. I don't know about you, I've been booked solid this entire week from like every day, 8 a.m. to every night, 9 p.m., like just straight through. And I'm booked till Monday right now. So same exact thing. It's good. A little hectic, but hey, I don't care. It's good to be busy.
That's right. Yeah. It's better than the alternative.
That's right. Which I don't know what that is. Something good. Okay, so yeah, we'll do the quick market recap on what happened last week. Plus, I want to dive into what happened in all of August, because it looked like it was a really good month. And then we want to talk about the Reebok founder and correlate it back to Lethbridge, plus a little bit of our real estate games. So let me share my screen here. You can see that one.
I can. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, so this is the August one. Well, you can jump in on here and talk. So this is August. 165 sales went final in August, which is a really good month. The average days on market was 79, which is pretty good. That's above average. And the average sales price was 329 a cent. Oh, sorry, list price 320,000. So pretty crazy. So list for 329, sold for 320. That's about right. So I'd be interested to see 165 and 320. Let's see what 2019 had. 2019, 139. So we're up there at 165. And the average price was 301 in 2019. So up almost $20,000. That feels about right because it was a busy August. Let's see what 18 was just for fun. 18 was 142. So the busiest August in the last 3 years, right? And woo, look at that difference.
Wow.
Now that's luck of the draw, I guess. It just depends on what happened in that month. But we're 320 versus $42,000 in difference. So huge. What do you think happened? Why do you think August was so busy this year?
I was just going to ask you the same thing.
Well, I have my.
I don't know. Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts because.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know where this thing is. Historic sales by year. Maybe that'll work. Let's see. Yeah, that could work. Data. So yeah, I guess I could have done this easier. So it wasn't a record-breaking month, right? We've had 170, 164, 140, 140, and now we're at 165. So I think, honestly, can I change the criteria? Maybe not. I wanted to see, I guess my thought is so many people in March and April didn't buy, where typically March and April, you're looking at 140, 160, 100, 150. So it's usually right in this 150 range. And we knew April this year was down to 70. So it was quite a bit less. So I think a lot of people miss the spring market, just jump back into the market. I think year over year, the same amount of sales have happened. So it's pretty darn close. Actually, we can even check that, right? So if I go sold, January 1 to today, which I don't know what date it is, September 3rd, 1,104 sales. And if we go 2019, it's probably going to be very close, 1,104, 1,105. So if that's about as good as it gets. It's the exact same amount of sales year over year. We just didn't have many sales in March and April this year because everyone was locked down and just like on pause. And those exact people bought and sold again. So I think that's it. I don't think there's any crazy, mysterious, oh my gosh, the market's on fire. But I think it was good for people who were selling in August for sure.
Absolutely. I had the same thoughts in terms of why August was really busy. It's not that we're actually busy. It's just we're playing catch up, as we've said 3, 4, 5 times on this program. Is this a program now? Anyway, on this show. But like I was hesitant to say that just because typically in a typical year, we're slow right now. Like last week of August or last 2 weeks of August, first 2 weeks of September, there's not a whole lot that's been going on, but this wave has continued, into 3 weeks further into the season than it typically would. So I thought maybe my assumption of why we were busy could be wrong. So again, like we said last week, I guess it'll be interesting the next couple of weeks to see if this wave continues or if we kind of go back to normal. And then what does that normal look like this year? I don't know.
And if you were a seller in March and April, you didn't get an offer, and then you got an offer in May, and they did 2 weeks for conditions and 30 days after that, and that pushed you to June, July, and then you bought a place and you needed a few days, so August. So I think we're seeing these people just kind of getting pushed against their will into August and September. Kids are back in school as of this week, so watch out for school zones, everyone, because the police were sitting by my house watching people go by today. So
is that why they were sitting by your house?
Usually, yes. It's not the south side. I wasn't on the south side.
It's the west side. They're just doing their thing.
Doing their thing way up there. So yeah, I think you're right. Most people usually like, okay, my kids are back at school. We're going to take a few days off here and not look at houses. And I think they're just being forced to do it. I've got a bunch of first-time buyers who are getting ramped up, getting their approvals done. So there's a lot of good stuff happening out there. But anyway, doesn't seem like it's just like this, oh my gosh, the market's going to continue to boom and blow up. It's not that. It's just a recovery period. So I want to kind of go over the current stats too real quick here. So we'll just check out Lethbridge as a snapshot today. There's 634 active listings on the market. The average asking price right now is $353,000 with the median being $320. Average days on market's 106. So interesting to see. There's a few of these ones that are skewing at maybe 975 days. However, the ones that were priced correctly, this will lead us into our Reebok thing here. The ones that were priced correctly seem to just get off the market, and the ones that are a little high are just sitting around. 38 have conditional offers on them as of today, and the average is 288. So this is nice to see, because if you get 40 of these, average here, you'll unlock a bunch of those 350s. So that'll put 40 new buyers, hopefully, approximately, back into the market buying those 350s. So should be an interesting week. So with 38 pending and 35 that sold last week, we got and again, pending, a ton of people don't show them as pending right now, but 35 that sold final last week for an average of 297. So yeah, it's a pretty decent market. Again, this number is pretty low. We've seen it up in the 750, 800 range. So being at 630 is kind of nice. Keeps the inventory a little low for us. And if you're selling, what's that, about 5%, no, 7% of the market every week, that should have a good turnover. So that looks pretty good right now.
I agree.
Okay, Thank you. So that's it. That's a quick market update. Which brings me into what I want to talk about is we found a fun story. The Reebok founder, Paul Fireman, sells Massachusetts mansion for $23 million. That they shouldn't put these two words together. That's impossible.
Yeah.
They expect anyone to say that. So that's interesting. They sold it for $23 million. However, game show host showed me he listed originally for $90 million. How would you like to be that realtor that missed it by that much? Like you were $67 million off the final sales price. That's pretty crazy. We're not playing this one in the game today, but we just want to show you a few of the photos. So he listed for 90. He was in the top 10 expensive homes in 2017. Then he relisted for 69. Then he went to 38. Then he went to 33, and then he eventually sold for 23 million. So a huge difference. And when you talk about that was 2017. So 3 years to sell it. Obviously, price ranges that's a little different than Lethbridge area. Let's take a look at some of the photos.
I think it was cool. 2016 he initially listed it at 90, I think it said.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. So yeah, 4 years on the market. Obviously a good home, but we were talking about this earlier today, and I've talked to many clients about it. I see Tom Brady in here. Oh, just down the road from Tom Brady.
Ooh, old. Wouldn't they have?
Should be Giselle's mansion.
Yeah.
Brady, who lives there with her. Yeah.
She's the breadwinner.
Yeah, right. Oh, before he moved to Tampa Bay. All right. So yeah, I was talking to some sellers about this too, and it's like, when you're listing a home, it is important to look at like, okay, what are the other homes selling for? That's important. What are your current competition? Like who is on the market right now that you'd be fighting with? If you're in Copperwood right now and you got a 2-story and there's like 68 other ones, you got to be pretty aggressive with your price because they can just go next door and buy one, right? So we talk about this a lot, is if you're overpricing it right from the get-go, are you losing a lot of buyers? And then are you losing that time that you sit on the market for 4, 5, 6 months without an offer? And then you end up, obviously like this guy canceling, relisting it, and maybe going in at the lower price and getting the offer you want. So have you run into this quite a bit, Joel?
Yeah, I almost run into it like every second house that I sell. I'm a buyer's agent, if everybody doesn't know. So I kind of see it on the other side. I always have to answer the question, why is this house not selling if it's such a good price? Like, why isn't it sold yet? Why is it still on the market after 120 days? If the price makes sense now. And the answer to that could be very simple. If it's priced right, but still on the market and a good house, good property, but they priced it too high to begin with. Now we're 120 days on the market. You're asking me the question, why hasn't it sold yet? Every single person that steps foot into that house is asking the same question. And there may not be an answer for it. Or the answer may be as simple as, it's been on the market for 120 days, let's call it. Everyone is asking that same question. So in their mind, in the buyer's mind, it's almost, I'll use the word stigmatized, even though that's a harsh word.
Yeah.
But when a buyer's asking a question, why, it's never a good thing, right? So sometimes you can pick up a pretty decent deal on houses that have been on the market for a long time that started a little high. And, from a buyer standpoint, that may be something to look into or to ask your realtor about. But more importantly, from the seller side too, is it's important to price it properly to begin with.
Yeah. So I was showing houses in Nanton with one of our new agents 3 days ago. And we showed one that we thought, man, it was priced really well. It was like kind of like your old guy house, like woodworking shop inside, binders inside that said like house things, like it's just the most clean house you could ever see. And I was like, I texted the realtor like, why hasn't this sold yet? And they're in a smaller town like Nanton, right? So she said to me like, well, we had an offer on it, and that offer crashed, but it's such a small town, everyone noticed, or everyone was like, oh, it has an offer. So they stopped showing it. So they had to reduce the price just to get the interest back up, because it was a stigma like, oh, well, yeah, if it's sold, which really sucks, because you're like, it did have an offer and it crashed because everyone kind of found out about it. So they had to do, a drastic thing and drop the price. I thought it was just a crazy good price. So you run into that a little bit. What I run into mostly when you're listing it is you have a conversation at the beginning, like, okay, what are we going to list this home for? How are we going to market it? Blah, blah, blah. And you talk about the price and you get a range. Okay. So you saw in your community, the range was, I don't know, 375 to 400. Like that's what everything's selling for. That's exactly like your home. Now that's a huge gap. There's $25,000 and that can make a massive difference. People don't negotiate that much. So I've found that if you list it a little too low, you run the risk of, oh, it sold in a day. Did I leave money on the table? So that's a fine balance. People hate that. And if you list it too high, do we sit on the market and get no action and we lose buyers for 2-3 months that just go elsewhere? So it's a really hard thing to price it exactly right. In our market, it's a little easier. There's a lot of similar homes throughout Lethbridge that you can really get good comparables for. And just have to price it correctly. And I've seen if people sit on the market 3-4 weeks and get no action, no offers, maybe a couple showings here and there, it might be time just to quickly do an adjustment, like get it while it's still hot, drop that price a little bit. Sometimes $5,000 makes a huge difference. Sometimes $10,000 is needed. You just want to get back into that range where people will pull the trigger.
Yeah, and on that point too, and I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but on that point too, I mean, if I'm as a buyer's agent, if I'm walking through a house and let's say it's been listed for, I don't know, 35 days, something fairly appropriate, feels a little overpriced, feels like a good house, but no price drops, that's sending me a signal of either they don't want to, can't, or I mean, there could be another reason, but those are the two that stick out in my mind is, okay, how bad do they want to sell this house? It's been sitting, no offers. It's a nice house, good property, little high on the market, deserves a price drop, but nothing. So every single thing that you do as a seller sends a signal to the potential buyer. And as long as everything kind of makes sense, it'll all work, but it's an all encompassing thing, not just one strategy here or there.
I think people are surprised when we tell them, like, they're like, well, someone will just negotiate. Like it's negotiable. You're like, they just won't. They won't. They'll go, 20 grand too high. And they go to the next place. Lethbridge is somewhat conservative that way, where you and I might be like, I'll lowball and I don't care. And I'm not going to hurt anyone's feelings. Some people are just like, I don't want to offend them. Let's move on. And they're, then the seller's sitting here, well, why didn't they even give me a low offer? It's sometimes you just have to do your own little price reductions, do the 5K, boom, it sells. And you wouldn't believe how many times I wish I written it down over my years is you have it listed, nothing. And you do just a $5,000 drop and boom, you get an offer in like a week. You're like, okay, well, that sucks. Like, why didn't we do this to begin with? But you never know, right? And so, you got to be very aware of what's happening in the market, which is good for these weekly updates. Like, where do you stand in that? And if everyone else on the block is going down, and you can't go down, that's fine, but you might just have to wait them out. That's really what we see a lot of too. So
yeah, and I mean there are situations where very unique properties will hit the market and there are no comps, there are no history. So what do you do? And a lot of those will be higher priced properties, obviously, but sometimes there's lower priced ones. Like we just listed one, well, you just listed one that has a kind of an irregular lot shape. Well, how do you comp that? You really can't. The house is fantastic. The location is really good, but it's got an irregular lot. So how does that affect it? There's two properties in town that have that lot. None of them have sold yet. So what's the price?
I sold the neighbors that one too.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you're right. So you have an idea.
It's doable. Yeah.
Yes,
and that's what you sometimes run into. Just you got unique homes. Sometimes you just guess on the price to begin with, and then you adjust as you go down. So anyway, didn't want to belabor it too much, but I thought that was kind of interesting to see how it affects small markets, big markets, anyone really, right? So
everyone, all the way from was once a $90 million property all the way down to
22.
My wife and I have been watching, not to get just a little off topic, and maybe maybe this is better for just a conversation with you and I, but whatever, everyone can hear it. We've been watching a lot of those Netflix, like Selling the Sunset and $1 Million Beach House and stuff like that on Netflix. They're like a really bad version of $1 Million Listing LA in New York.
Oh yeah.
If those weren't bad enough, these are even worse. And it's like this super cheesy, like disco upbeat music. I think we should do that, Justin. I think we should have do it like a little 20-minute, and you know how they're always like, this property is 23 million. We could go into like, this condo's 110,000 and walk in like ballers, you know?
I is this the thing on Netflix that's like they're selling places just outside of New York? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I watched it for 15 seconds, vomited in my mouth, and I left the room. My wife was like, oh my gosh. Like no one talks like that. I cannot stand those shows.
Yeah. It's a good train wreck. We like bad TV, trashy TV. So.
There's a guy in there called Noel, right?
Yeah, but he changes his name in episode 2 to back to Noel.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking about you. I was like, is it Joel or Joel? And Noel.
Well, yeah, he's got a twin brother whose name is Joel.
He does?
He goes by Joel.
You should go join that company. It sounds like a crazy place to be.
I should. Except they were making fun of him by going by his name as like he goes by Noel instead of Noel. Well, I go by Joel instead of Joel. So I can't criticize.
Also, if I had like a hidden camera or that I knew I was being interviewed, I would never be like, I hate Joel, and like 10 seconds later you're in the same office. I'm like, that's good. That's the way to keep an office up and running. So anyway,
you don't do that? Oh, okay.
I barely do it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have two today. Game Show is going to give us a rundown. This one is Boston. So Game Show, give us a rundown on this place.
We are doing Boston and Toronto today because I'm a big sports fan, and they're playing each other in 2 leagues today, so I figured I'd make a third competition. So let's start with Boston. This is 1 Dalton Street, Unit 2905. This 3,124 4-bed, 3.5 bath place comes with an executive study, 2 garage spots, and valet parking, so you don't even have to park your own car. You can enjoy views of Boston, the Charles River, and beyond. It's got floor-to-ceiling windows in most of the apartments. The open concept living space includes a custom kitchen, marble counters, wine chiller. The dining room overlooks the city and adjoins a spacious living room with a gas fireplace and lit coved ceilings. The master suite offers a marble bath with a freestanding tub, king white marble carved stone sink, dual showers, and 3 large closets. The rotunda is graced with an art collection by internationally renowned expressionist artist Giovanni Di Cunto. The recreation of the entire building is on display. It comes with residence club, a theater, a golf simulator. I know Justin would love that. Family room, pool, and a fitness facility.
That is crazy. So,
nice place.
Have you been to Boston, Joel?
No, I've wanted to go.
I've been there. Pretty awesome. It's very cool there. It seemed really nice when we were there. We went and saw a hockey game and a football game at the same weekend, so that was pretty nice. You look at these buildings and they are amazing. Like look at the I don't know, the shape of this building is pretty crazy. There are a bunch of them that do that, like on corners and stuff. They have like these cool little rounded edges. So yeah, I have no clue. I'm going to take a guess here. I'm not gonna write it down. I'm just gonna tell you. It's pretty nice, but I don't think theirs is as crazy as I think. So I'm just gonna go 12.25.
I said 8.5 million.
Ooh.
Joel is the winner today. He's a little bit closer, by almost dead on. 8.475 million.
Oh.
That is pretty good. Good guess, cheater.
Yes. Guess.
Definitely came in early and researched Boston and Toronto.
There's no guessing.
That is from, does anyone know that movie reference? That ain't no guess. Oh, James definitely knows that, right?
I got it.
Yeah.
Waterboy.
Waterboy, yeah. His trashy girlfriend guesses the price or the score of the game halfway through. Yeah. And He's like, oh, what made you come up with that guess? And she goes, that ain't no guess. Anyway, moving on. Tell us about Toronto.
This is 31 Glenyar Road in Toronto. It's a 5+1 bedroom with 7 bathrooms, single family home. It's brand new, custom built this year, quietly situated on a cobblestone street and one of the premier streets within the Forest Hill South area of Toronto, just steps away from the Forest Hill Village and Ravine. You can notice the quality inside this stunning home right when you walk in. It's got a free-flowing layout with attention paid to pretty much every detail across the house. Open living and dining and family room area, lavish sculptural elements and refined finishes are evident throughout. Comes with a top-of-the-line chef's kitchen with a massive island with built-in seating, built-in appliances, solid stone steps leading you upstairs and downstairs, and the master ensuite and substantial walk-in closet, which is putting it mildly, basically leave you in awe.
That is crazy. See that size of the amylite or whatever that was in the, what's that called? That's not amylite.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
The stone thing.
But, yeah.
Wow.
You might be right. Ooh, I like that fireplace out there.
Yeah, that is really
Beautiful.
cool. Look at that. That is, look at how they got it to be perfect there. Oh, that's some dedication to your craft. So it's built on an infill, but it looks like other infills around it. Wow. They put a lot of money in this place. Whoa, that's retro, but kind of cool.
I like it.
Yeah, small backyard. Is that turf? That's grass.
It's all fake.
That's fake.
Yeah,
terrible. Looks cool from the outside. I like a bat cave kind of garage there. I want to look at. I want to look at that. This wine thing is neat here. Hey,
you're missing a table, but yeah, it's beautiful.
You're missing a table. Kitchen is cool. I wanted to see this again. Oh, yeah, that's stone. That's crazy. That's not the amylite. That's something else. Look at this. Triple ovens. My wife.
That top one is a coffee machine.
Oh man, I thought it was a reflection, but yeah, I see that. So coffee machine. And triple ovens.
Yeah.
Nice. I believe this is their closet.
Study.
I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the office.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, you go first this time.
Okay, 16 and a quarter million.
Oh man, I should just change mine to 16 and a quarter million and $1 because no chance. But I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go 42,300,000.
You guys think this house is a lot more expensive than it is. It does look very nice, but they are selling it for just $9.199 million.
Weird. How big was this place? What was it?
It's like 7,000 square
They
feet.
did actually say, they don't say. It's sitting on a lot that's 50 foot by 135 foot, but it does not say anywhere what the square footage is.
Well, I can tell you
50 by 135?
So it's not going to be more than 200, 2,500 square feet.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tricked me. I was wrong. I wanted to go.
Wait. Sorry. Does that mean I win again?
That's 2 in a row. I should have gone $1, Alex, but I still would have lost.
Should have. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet. Well,
it looks like we're not going to be getting our licenses in Toronto anytime soon, being that far off.
And also them being pricey.
Oh, but you do well at Boston.
Yeah, that's right. I'd go to Boston to do that.
Yeah. Just sell a couple of those a year in Boston, and away you go. Just like those TV shows. Sell 3 homes a year, and you're a millionaire somehow.
That's what they said, because they were like, the one guy's like, I've sold $15 million worth of real estate this year. I'm like, but the houses are $10 to $30 million a year, so you've sold
half one.
Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's nuts. Cool. Thanks, Game Shows, for putting that together.
No problem.
Okay, we'll chat soon. I think that's all I had for today. I just want to do that quick recap. Do you have anything you wanted to chat about there, Joel?
No, I've got nothing.
Do you want to give your opinion on masks or schools and stuff? And really get yourself in trouble? The best way to go is just no comment. If I was an agent, let's say I was an agent and I had celebrity clients, there's nothing you could do to stop me from wrestling away microphones and Twitter from them right now. Because there's not a thing you can say correctly, not one way or the other. You say something, and you're mad, and like the other side's really mad at you. You say the other thing, and then the other side's mad, and then they both get mad at you for apologizing for making the other side mad. So yeah, I would just be punching phones out of my clients' hands like all day. And yeah, it's not the world you want to be voicing.
Good thing we're not publicists. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Look at Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton. What? How do you get mad at Dolly Parton? And what does she care? She's got hundreds of millions of dollars. So I don't think she cares that we're mad or someone's mad at her. Not we. Not me. Love Dolly Parton.
I don't know what she did. What did she do?
I don't know. She said something that offended one side.
Oh, okay.
Because a microphone got near her and she said words. And you should never do that.
No.
Yeah. So
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting time when you have to very carefully craft everything.
Even that sentence.
Yeah.
Yep. When we're showing houses and I just have like cell phone keys, wallet, mask, because you're on whatever side that your client's on at that moment.
Absolutely.
I am actually perfectly torn where I don't care either which way. So if someone's like, please wear a mask, I'm like, yep. And they're like, please don't wear a mask. I'm like, okay, whatever, right? So I'm just
yeah. I do have an opinion about schools though. I don't have kids.
Okay. So your opinion does matter then.
No, it matters none. So I can say this. I don't know, and I'm open to being wrong about it. I just don't know how I feel about it. I think it's a little too soon, but I don't know.
I don't know. You know what? We dropped our kids off at school, and it was like the most organized drop-off day I've ever been a part of. It was like getting this line, you come in at this time, boom, boom, boom. It was really well done. So hats off to the teachers that were able to organize that, because that must have been terrible for them. And yeah, so I don't know. They're all wearing masks. I know one kid had the sniffles the other day and they got sent home. So by the way, all kids are going to have sniffles literally as of today, because they've been away from other people for 6 months. They're just all going to be sick. But that doesn't mean what everyone thinks it means. It's just how kids work.
The positive thing about all of this, because there's a lot of negative going on, you know, down south, up in Canada, people have their opinions, having to walk a tightrope based on what you say, lots of bad things happening. But the good things are, you can have some pretty interesting conversations with people.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So I enjoy that. I really enjoy that. But
I've had many interesting ones. So yeah, and you just I just take everyone's opinion and merge it together, and you've got to look at all sides. And also, I heard a really good meme or thing where it was talking about going back to school, and there's like the three options: like, yes, my kids are going back to school; no, they're not going back to school; or yeah, I'm going to homeschool them. And essentially, the whole joke of it was, no matter what they say to you, you answer the exact same. Oh, that must have been a hard decision for you. And away you go, because you don't want to be like, what? Why would you do that? Or it's just not worth getting an argument with friends over, because they're allowed to live their lives as they want. So I'm absolutely perfectly happy. But yeah, crazy times. So we'll just go and sell real estate and not give you our opinions, except for on the market values. I mean, I'm really good at that part. So,
yeah. But if you really want our opinions, call us.
Look at some homes, and then you'll get our,
exactly.
Okay, well, I got a couple meetings this afternoon, so I better get out of here. Thanks for joining us today. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback on this one, feel free to leave some comments below. I did have a person call me this week from watching this and had some questions for us. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to send us a line, and we'll gladly answer it for you. So, thanks, Joel.
Thank you.
Okay, talk to you guys next week. See ya.
See ya.